extremely important, and for most, a 401k plan seems the best way to do it.
But with a shaky economy, tighter budgets, and many companies trying to cut back on expenses, you may be wondering if it's still the best way for you to pack the pennies away.
So the Watchdog on Wall Street, Chris Markowski, is here to help us out as he usually does. How you doing, Chris?
Very well. Thanks for having me back here.
Yes, okay. We love the song.
Yeah. De La Soul. I love this, but why are we listening to this right now?
Oh, you see how old we are, Andy. This was hip-hop back in 1989, okay? This is when we were young whippersnappers. Actually, it's kind of interesting. I was thinking about these. 3's a magic number. Are you investing for 3 months down the road, or are you investing for 3 years down the road? That's the key. If you need your money 3 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, you know what? Stocks are not the way to go by any stretch of the imagination. If you've got a 3-year or longer time frame, you're in the right ballpark. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You've got that extended period of time. Short term, the markets are way, way too volatile to be going in. If you got $50,000 for a down payment on the house. I get this question a lot, actually. We actually get it in the chat room. You know, what should I do with it? Need it for a house? Well, you're going to have to buy that house soon. Stock market's not the way to go. Cash equivalents. But if it's for your retirement, if it's for 10, 20, 30 years down the road, that's the best place to go.
Okay. Now, you know, with these tax penalties, people have a lot of questions about tax penalties, like what's going to happen. And Obama has different plans. He's talking about suspending some of the tax penalties with regard to withdrawing your money.
Actually, they already put that into effect. This is for senior citizens for the most part. You have to have mandatory withdrawals from 401ks and qualified accounts at a certain point in time. And what they're doing is they're suspending that for 2009 for people who took losses in 2008. They don't want to have to take money out because it means they may have to sell some securities at a loss. So they're suspending that for 2009. So that's a great thing for senior citizens.
For people who are thinking about pulling money out of their 401k, what are the penalties involved?
It's just not a smart thing to do. If you need money out of your 401k, you'd rather take a loan against the 401k. Either you have to pay it back over time because you're going to get really low rates in that. If you own your own business, you have a single individual 401k, you basically set your own interest rate, but that's a no-no. Why pay all these taxes and penalties? You know, you put this money aside, it's for your future, you pay yourself every single month, don't penalize yourself.
And we only have a couple seconds left, but what about when people are laid off? Because that's happening a lot now. What do? Do they roll over?
Yeah, you want to roll it over. I don't know why people keep it at their existing companies because you're paying a lot of there's administration costs and there's fees involved with 401ks. You roll it over to an IRA, you're not going to be paying those fees.
Industry this year.
Well, they're being pushed to put out, and they're rolling out all these incredibly cool, neat electric cars, and we all kind of go back to the DeLorean and the 1.21 gigawatts that made the DeLorean go. However, that's the flex capacitor. You got to think about that for a second, though. Anybody drive next to a parking meter and see a plug recently where you can recharge these things? We don't have a coherent energy policy here in this country, and all these cars are all well and good, but yet, until we have that coherent energy policy, it's not going to happen. And with oil prices down below $40 a barrel, who's going to buy these things? Who's going to pay the extra price for these cars? You know, when Congress gets involved in the auto business and they start mandating CAFE standards and they start saying you have to make this type of car, yet you're not going to make any money on it, how is Detroit supposed to survive?
It's like they think their knight in shining armor will be the electric horseman. And it's not going to happen.
Plus, I mean, the power grid in this country can only handle so much.
We see that in the summertime. You get big cities, it gets really hot, you get brownouts. What if everybody starts plugging cars in all over the place?
If 80% of people own the Priuses, yeah, you're going to see more than a rolling blackout. You're just going to see a blackout.
Well, the Prius is a little bit different in the fact that it's a hybrid engine where it recharges itself. But a lot of these cars are actual plug-ins. I mean, the Chevy, the Volt that's coming out is a plug-in car. 6 hours to charge it.
Me on that.
Yeah.
So we don't get the emails of people
this is what the China girl does, okay? 6 hours to plug in the car to get 40 miles.
Yeah, and the other thing that people don't think about, and again, we're not trying to badmouth too badly electric cars here, but again, with our current energy policy, it doesn't seem to make much sense. And when you think about, oh, I'll get an electric car because I won't be burning gas in order to pollute the environment, well, you're sucking power from an electric power plant, which does it how? Burning coal.
Yeah, you remember in Back to the Future, they actually had to use a lightning bolt, and they had to time it just correct to get the 1.21 gigawatts in the flux capacitor, make it go. We don't do that. We can't use a lightning. You have to burn something.
Something's getting burned.
something's getting burned, whether it's plutonium or whatever it may be. Something has got to burn to make the car go.
And I have a feeling if we keep pumping bailout money into these car companies, the taxpayers, the one that's
start burning cash. There you go.
Aren't we already doing that?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Well, if you have a financial question for Chris, you can email him by going to our website, dailybuzznow.com, and clicking on the guest tab.